what is it about Beltane that you like? What makes you happy about Beltane? What is Beltane?
Beltaine is one of the three main growth, reproduction, new beginning Sabbats. It's the main of the three, and it's the reproduction or the fertility of the flesh. This is when the Earth Mother and the god of the forest meet, and they begin the new cycle, the new beginnings, the new growth of all the new trees and the baby animals. Ancient Celts would celebrate this by actually teaming up on Beltane for a big fertility cycle blessing.
Oh, cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. And so you like the girls put like the flowers in their hair and go out and do the maypole. Can you tell me a little bit about the maypole?
The maypole is designed in a way. Ancient Celts believed that the gods did not live apart from the people, but the gods actually lived within the trees and within the forest areas. And so it was originally dancing around the trees to make this more of a ceremonial thing that the village could really participate in and get into, and to represent all the colors of the new spring growth. They used a maypole where they would tie multiple string colors around the top of the tree, and they would all dance around the tree, which houses the gods, in their connection. And then as they're dancing over and under, they're actually weaving their lives, their strings in with the god, as tight as they can get it, as close to the gods as possible. You know, in this circle, one group would be going counterclockwise and one would be going clockwise. And they do a over-under patterning to get that ribbon nice and tight and an actual woven right up against the tree.
So it's kind of like weaving your own tapestry with the gods and becoming part and one with the gods.
Yes.
And that kind of ties into modern day awakening, spiritual awakening, that we're talking about bringing ourselves up and realizing that we are all one with God, or with the all that is, or the universe, or however people want to say it, and that we combine all of this stuff together and we create ourselves into a one unique being that is down here having multiple experiences in all of the different dimensional diversities, or how we used to call it past life and future life intertwining. We've discovered that this is all based one and everything's happening simultaneously. So we know that we are just part of God in its unique pattern and intertwining and weaving with the maypole.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So while the women were out dancing around a maypole and trying to get intertwined and connected with God, what did the men do?
The men would all gather and go out and perform a hunt for the festivities dinner that night. And each animal or hunt would be a point allotment. And once they had fulfilled the quota for what they actually needed to be able to feed the village, the hunt would be over. So whoever was able to get the majority of the hunt to be able to feed the village, to show that he was the most capable of taking care of, became the May King, the Spring King. The woman, on the other hand, that had the longest length of ribbon left from her maypole dance, everybody started with the same, so whoever had the longest was able to keep her affairs as tight and nice and perfectly woven in order, and became the May Queen. And that's how they would actually join a lot of the couples, is the May King and Queen would begin the ceremonies, and they would be the first to depart off to share in the fertility of the evenings.
The fun part of the night.
The best part that everybody's been waiting for, you know. This was also a great time if anyone wanted to be married. They would do their hand fasting, their marriage ceremonies on May Day.
I've heard that was supposed to be really good luck to be married on May Day.
Absolutely. It provided that the gods were already gathering for the festivities, so they were watching over your marriage. You've got all the festivities of the fertility gods watching for the bonfire and the hunt and the maypole dance, and then they're granting and they're joining in with the fertility of your marriage.
And so if the woman became pregnant upon May Day, with the gods watching and joining,
it was actually considered that the child would be part god. That the gods actually had a specific hand in creating that conception.
That's pretty cool. But, gives a new twist to modern day arranged marriages, right?
Arrangement plus one or two, yes, all together.
Hey, the whole village is involved in this one.
On that one, too, Beltane, there was well known for lighting a giant ritual bonfire. And everything of this fire was completely sacred and considered very, very cleansing, protective, and fertile. The flames represented moving out of the old snowy winter's eve, and the growth and watching the sun expand and grow its power. The ashes would be collected afterwards and divvied out to the villagers as protection within the homes, but could also be anointed on the woman's belly to ensure and help with that fertility movement a little bit more.
Hopefully the ashes were a little cool.
After, because, the fire's burning, everybody departs together, and then you get to come back after a little bit.
And then you gather okay, so they are nice and cool. We don't have to worry about anything like that.
No, too much crazy.
Hey, but crazy is kind of fun.
The whole reason of the dancing naked around the maypole, exactly.
The dancing naked was a good part of it. Wasn't it a Wiccan person that created the Wicca that actually, because he was a nudist, brought in the nudity? Yeah, I can talk really well. Nudity.
So, Aleister Crowley was himself a nudist and just wanted to be around more nude people, especially the pretty females, of course.
I know that there was a little bit back then, but not as much as what we portray it into nowadays.
No. Most of the ancient Celts and pagans believed that if you can't do your magic through a little piece of cloth, you're probably not doing something right.
That's true. That's so true.
So when we joke about dancing naked around the maypole, it's not so much a physical naked. It's actually a bearing your soul and your devotion naked to the gods.
Exposing all of your weaknesses, opening up, surrendering to the higher being to help guide you along your path.
Exactly. Showing your bare chest, showing your bare soul outwards.
Becoming vulnerable in the eyes of God, so that God is, and by allowing yourself to be vulnerable and be available, then you're allowing yourself to say, I am here and I trust your guidance in my path and show me the way, and I'll follow suit.
Mm-hmm. And it's also an extra connection with the villagers around you, and as well as the gods. If you're all getting together, you're exposing your true selves and saying, this is me. And that's the namaste bringing in of, I truly see you as an actual soul, more so than the physical naked of the body.
Wow, that's so deep, because being able to see inside of someone and see who they truly, truly are, and know that they are a part of God and you are a part of God, and you're all together as one, is
And more than the physical.
way more than the physical. So, you mentioned earlier about the great big bonfires. So, wasn't it that in the village, didn't all of the villagers put out their own individual fires and bring them to the center, to the bonfire, to show as a communion of all into one big fire, showing, raising up to as high as they could to the gods, to bring in that fire, and show that they are a community, they are all one, and they're all connected, just like when in spirit, how all spirit is connected and stuff like that.
In a sense, yes. Instead of having the individual hearth fires, like you said, the individual hearths would be extinguished, or parts of it could be carried out to the large ceremonial bonfire. But it was, yes, one large bonfire for the entire community.
And that's the reason we would like to dance around bonfires this time of year as well.
Yes. I mean, we're getting rid of the snow, getting rid of the cold, chasing out the long, slow, frozen winters, and literally watching the power of the sun as it grows and blossoms before us.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Now, on that, Beltane, the word, was brought into two Celtic parts. Bel, the bright one, the name of one of their bright gods of the sun, and Tain, meaning fire. So Beltaine literally meaning the bright one's fire, bringing forth that light into the new world.
Wow. And I'm sure the great big flames didn't hurt melting away any leftovers, frost and stuff left on the ground.
Well, you got to make sure for the night's excitements that nobody's too frozen up now.
Because they did meet at a specific spot out in the meadow and under the stars, so that, like you say, the gods are taking place as well,
Mm-hmm.
and everything all combines all in one to bring forth that fertility, that amazement that they're trying to bring into the circulation of life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is a very wonderful explanation of Beltane. So much more than what I've noticed out and about that a lot of people have to say about it, because it seems to me that not everybody really truly understands the true in-depth meaning of some of these holidays and some of these rituals and reasons why we do some of the things that, or why they did, and now it is being brought back to continue to be brought back to us, with everybody.
A lot of the modern days have been more about segregation and more about individualized family homes and individual one-time forced marriage of only being able to live in a single marriage home. Whereas back in these days, it was more of an open community. There were still individual marriages, but it wasn't so strict in society-wise that way.
Yeah, it kind of like some of the things we're doing now, going back into the multi-lovers in one home, like what are the 3 people in, isn't that a
polygamorist, or
and then the 4s,
multiple
and the 6s.
generations in one home kind of a deal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the families living together in one home and staying under one roof. That's a great point.
Mm-hmm.
That the families all stick
It takes a
together
village to raise a child was literally coined because you had your mother and father, but the entire village would all take turns, and all of the children would be raised together by the village, not by an individual set of parents. Everybody was far more tight-knit than a lot of areas are today.
And so, yeah, that just shows how you're all intertwined, and every person has a specific thing that they're good at. And when you can bring out the best of your best availabilities and this person's best availabilities, and this person can teach you how to sew, and this person over here can teach you how to keep the house tidy or whatever, it works all combines and well. So Beltane's a really pretty amazing community awareness, but bringing forth in the spring is connecting with spirit and God is all tied up in one.
Absolutely. And Beltane's really an important community event, but if you can't find somebody in the community around, I definitely suggest looking for, but nowadays I guess we've got Zoom, we've got some online meeting things that are really good, at least to be able to have that connection.
Connecting to people is one of the 7 things that you do need to function in life. We are a sociable people. We love to communicate with others. So speaking of that, if you guys have enjoyed listening to this and want to know more, feel free to hit that like and subscribe there at the bottom of the page. Come in and take a look at us over at the Lotus Moon Sanctuary and GaiasHiddenTreasures.com. We would love to be able to hear any of your remarks that you have, so feel free to comment below. Let us know what you think. What would you like to find out about? And let's see if we can't get a lot of your questions answered.
It takes a village to raise the child, but that village has to keep going strong together. So join the communities. Blessed be.
We look forward to growing with our community and look forward to having you joining us. You have a blessed day.